DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. You can't even find it. And on top of all that, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What that is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, especially yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show. This daily masterclass, the only daily masterclass on the mental game that you will find. If there's another one that pops up as garbage because they just copying my shit and it's not going to be half as good as mine, it is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Welcome to the show. Today's topic, we are talking mastering the 4 C's. Now, I'm going to tell you that I got this concept. I first heard of this from a guy by the name of Jordan Belfort. If you don't know that name, he is also known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Maybe many of you probably saw that movie. I read the book. I did see the movie. The movie was not half as good as the book. The book was a lot better, which is usually the case. But Jordan himself, I know he's active online these days. I have seen him speak in person once, and I've seen a couple of his interviews. But I know he's active on social media nowadays. I believe he has a podcast. I mean, who doesn't have a podcast? He does sales training. He's known for his work in the sales world. Now, he was known as the Wolf of Wall Street because of the great accomplishments that he had as a salesperson, selling very low-cost stocks to people back in the days. He ended up going to jail for doing some stuff that he wasn't supposed to do, but that did not, well, at least in some people's eyes, did not diminish the fact that he was a very good salesperson. Now, while he was doing some legal stuff, he still had to sell it. So he still has his cachet for being a good salesperson out there in the world. Now, again, he's active online. I don't follow a lot of his stuff, but I came across this. I don't even know where I found this, but he made it a hot line. I'm gonna make it a hot song, this whole concept of the 4 C's. Or maybe he made it a hot song too, but if he did, I don't know about it. So I'm gonna do it. We're gonna talk about these 4 C's, that's the letter C, the work on your game way. So Jordan, being known for his sales skills, we're gonna talk about these topics as they relate to selling. And when we talk about selling, it can mean selling products. It could also mean selling yourself. So even if you are not a product creator or you don't consider yourself to be a salesperson, understand we are all salespeople. We are all selling ourselves every single day. If you put on a pair of glasses or you put on some makeup, you get dressed before you go outside in the morning and you give a damn about what you look like, you are selling yourself. If you don't give a damn what you look like, you are selling yourself too. You're selling the fact that you don't care what you look like and you want people to understand that. So every one of us is making a sale every day. Every time you have a conversation with another person, you're selling yourself. If you brush your teeth, you're selling yourself. You bathe, you're selling yourself. You make sure your clothes are clean, you are selling yourself. When you go for a job interview or you go on a date or you say something to another person, hoping to make them laugh, hoping to make them think, hoping to get your point across, or just to get them to understand your perspective or opinion, that is a sale. We are all selling ourselves. Some of us are good at it, some of us suck, but we are all in the sales game all day. Now, since, as I said already, Jordan made it a hot line. Maybe he made it a hot song too, but I'm gonna make it a hot song, the work on your game version. We're gonna talk about these 4 C's. These are 4 concepts or 4 attributes that start with the letter C. And we're going to talk about them the work on your game way as they pertain to any type of sale that you need to make, not only to other people, but also the most important sale that you will ever make in your life, which is the sale that you make to yourself. Point number 1. The topic here today, again, is the 4 C's, the work on your game way. The first one is certainty. The definition of certainty is firm conviction that something is the case. To sell anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of the definition now. Whether you're selling an idea or you're selling a tangible item, if you want to sell it to anyone, including to yourself, it is required that you be certain of the value of the thing that you're offering. Anything that you offer to other people, you must be certain that it's actually worth something. Otherwise, it will be impossible for you to do what they say is the definition of selling, which is the transfer of emotion, transfer of conviction. If you do not believe that something is worth anything, it'll be damn near impossible for you to convince somebody else that is worth something. Unless you happen to come across the rare occasion where the customer, the prospect, believes in the value of something more than you as a salesperson does, and they just buy it because it didn't even matter who was selling it, they were going to buy it anyway. So that you made a sale, but you didn't sell anything, if you understand what I'm saying. If you have the type of product that sells itself, You don't even have to be a good salesperson. Somebody's going to buy it from you even though you suck at selling. But in the normal cases, when you need to have at least some level of conviction, some level of certainty that what you're offering is worth something, because otherwise the person is not going to buy from you, you got to believe it. All right, you got to believe that it's worth something. If you as a person steps on a stage, or you get on a microphone, or you get in front of a camera, or you show up at a job interview and sit across that desk from the hiring manager, and you do anything in life where you're going to share something with an audience, and your audience could be just one person, you damn well better be certain of what you're saying. You better be certain of what you're offering. You better be certain of the value of whatever it is you're pitching to your audience. And why is this? Because we all understand that the majority of communication is nonverbal. This is something that we talk about. We go in depth on this in my people skills course, which you can access in Work on Your Game University, which the link is down below wherever you happen to be listening to or watching this, workonyourgameuniversity.com. The majority of communication is nonverbal. Even the communication that you have with yourself, that's nonverbal communication. Now, sometimes you speak out loud. You talk to yourself. Don't lie. We know you are a weirdo. You talk to yourself, but understand the majority of communication is nonverbal. It's the thoughts that we have, whether it's about ourselves or the thoughts that other people have about us and the thoughts that we have about other people. It's just the things that are going through our minds. That is nonverbal communication. Certainty, understand, isn't about the words. It isn't about the things that you say when you're speaking to another person, even though many of us think that if we say the right things, put the words together in the right combinations, we can convince other people of how certain that we are. But understand that real certainty is about everything other than the words. It's about the way that we present ourselves, the way that the look in our eyes, our body language, our tonality, the vocal levels. How loud are we speaking or how softly are we speaking? How are we dressed? What kind of energy do we have? Who are we being? What is our posture? All of those things are the real communication that we're having that communicates whether we are certain or if we're not. It is not the actual things that we say. Maria Konnikova is the author of a book called The Confidence Game. And this book is not about confidence like believing in yourself confidence. It's confidence game about how people pull off cons, like a con man, or just robbing people, or just getting them to believe certain things that are not actually true, but they got them to believe it, and then they're able to con that person out of money. So that's the kind of confidence she's talking about in the book. Again, it's called The Confidence Game. Her name is Maria Konnikova. Robert Greene also talks about this too, the act of pulling off cons. He talks about Count Victor Lustig, who was one of the greatest con people of all time. And also, there's a few other people. I can't even remember all of their names. But people who are huge confidence men, as they called them back in the day. They don't really call them that anymore. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm just out of touch with that world. But they called them confidence men, and the confidence man was like the con man. We usually call them con men now, or scammers, or what's the other one? There's another word, that charlatans, people like that. Those are words that we use these days, but they used to call them confidence men, and maybe they still do. Nowadays, when we talk about confidence, we're talking about self-belief and the kind of stuff that I talk about, showing up every day, or putting yourself out there boldly and authentically. But the air of certainty, with Maria Konnikova and Robert Greene, they talk about this, that the main thing that allows the con man to con people out of money is just the air of certainty with which they carry themselves. It convinces, confidence, convincing, you see how these go together? It convinces other people that they are to be believed, that this person they really have firm conviction in this thing, and that energy, that emotion of conviction transfers to the prospect, or in this case, the sucker who ends up getting suckered out of their money, that this is something that's believable. They buy in, and before they know it, their money is gone. So the first point is that certainty. You must have firm conviction that whatever it is you're offering to the world is actually worth whatever you say is worth. Point number two, or it doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to say it's worth something. The way that you present yourself and it lets people know what you think is worth. Point number two. Topic here today, we're talking the 4 C's via Jordan Belfort. Thank you, Jordan, for the line. I'm making it into a song. Point number 2, clarity. The definition of clarity is the quality of being coherent and intelligible. There are many smart people out here, I'm out of the definition now, many smart people who never get started on things because they are unclear as to where to begin and what to do once they actually have begun. Because they lack clarity. They have no coherent or intelligible plan or process as to what they're going to do. And it just so happens that one of the pillars of the Work on Your Game system Discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative, mindset, strategy. Number 6, strategy. Then there's accountability, action, and communication. Strategy is one of the key pillars, key 9 pillars of our whole process. You need a plan. You know what makes Apple products so popular? Because they planned out and they strategized to make it really clear as to how that product works, or how their products, plural, work. One great aspect of Apple products, and anyone who uses Apple, I think everyone who's listening to this, you have used Apple products at some point, even if you're not a big Apple person. Maybe you're more into the PC, Android world, that's fine. But you've used an Apple product before. You know what makes Apple products so great? Even if you don't like Apple products, I think you would agree to the point that I'm about to make, is that they make them very easy to use. Apple products are very user-friendly, super user-friendly. You don't even need, most Apple products, you don't even need a manual. All right? I don't think right now I got an iPad in front of me. I have a couple iPhones in front of me. I have a MacBook Air in front of me. I got an Apple Watch on my wrist. I got Apple everything. I got an Apple time capsule hidden in the closet, plugged into an outlet. The greatest thing about Apple products is that they don't come with manuals. I mean, if you wanted instructions, you can look it up online. They'll give you the instructions. But for the most part, you don't need the instructions. You just turn it on, and it's pretty easy to understand. If you're at least just a little bit computer literate, Apple products are out of the box, easy to use. And that clarity it creates the affinity that the everyday consumer has for their products. And this was Steve Jobs' vision from the beginning. He wanted to make products that were easy to use for the everyday consumer. He wasn't making products for the tech geeks and the nerds, but actually he was. He was like, all right, we're gonna make the tech geeks and the nerds are gonna like our stuff too, but the person that he was really aiming for was the everyday consumer. His idea, Bill Gates also had this idea, was to get a computer in everybody's hands. He wanted to they call it the laptop. I want to put a computer in everybody's lap. I want a phone that can go in everybody's pocket. I want everybody in the world to have all of their music and a computer and a map and what was the other thing you got on there? It was a computer, it was a phone, and it was one other thing that's escaping. And then like an MP3 player. Yeah, I want all three. It's a phone, a computer, and an MP3 player, all in one device that can fit in your back pocket. And they can have every song that you ever like to listen to all in one device. Can you believe that? Those of you old enough, can you believe? Back in the days, for those of you who don't remember, when we got in our cars, we had this book of CDs, right? And then you would turn through the book of CDs and you had to pick a CD that you were going to put into your car before you start driving, because you didn't want to be turning through the book while you're driving in the car. Nowadays, you can go from album to album. You can put playlists together all off your phone, all at the same time driving. Maybe that just makes me old, but I think some of you know what I'm talking about. What Apple did was take all of that, put it into one device, and make it so easy to use that even someone who knew nothing about computers, not very tech savvy, could pull one of those things out and start using it within 5 minutes, have a pretty good firm grip of how things work. That is the clarity that was baked into Apple products. And that's what has made and continues to make Apple so popular. The ease of use. Here's the thing, because this is not about Apple. It's about clarity. That's the second point that we're on the topic. Once again, we're talking the 4 C's of selling here today. Nobody likes when things are unclear. All right, even if you are a person who likes deciphering things, and you like when there are a lot of instructions, and you like when things are complicated because it separates out the people who are not able to figure things out. You like when things are super complicated. Nobody likes when things are so unclear that it's hard to kind of figure out exactly what's going on. I think all of us at a basic lizard brain level, being human beings, we like when things are clear. We like when we can at least understand what's going on and what's supposed to be going on. We like to know what we're doing. We like to know where we're going. We like to know what the plan is. Nobody likes to be just doing stuff with no idea or no plan of where we're going. Or eventually, any of us who works hard for a long enough period of time, eventually we're going to start asking, hey, what's the plan here? Right? Where is this going? What's the process here? Is it clear to us what it is that we're doing? Because if things are not clear to you, then it'll be impossible for you to make it clear to someone else. If someone's asking you questions and you can't answer them, it's probably because it has nothing to do with them asking the question. The fact that you probably couldn't answer that same question for yourself. So the more clear you can make things for you, the more clarity you can create within yourself, the more clarity you can create for others. And if you're trying to make a sale, in any form of sale in life, and you can't make it clear to other people what it is that you're giving them, then guaranteed they're not going to buy it. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, we're talking the 4 C's of selling. The third C, You knew this one was coming. Confidence. How I define confidence, to work on your game definition, is putting yourself out there boldly and authentically. Here's the definition out of the dictionary: the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, i.e. firm trust. Your level of belief, we're out of the definition now. Your level of belief in what you're doing affects how well you do it, or even if you do it in the first place. If you don't believe in something, you probably won't do it too well. If you don't believe in something, you might not even get started. Have you ever had something that you could have did or was offered for you to do or someone asked you to do, but your level of belief in it, you were not very confident in the idea or in the process or in the end game? You just weren't, or maybe you weren't confident in the person who was asking you to do something. They were asking you to do something with them, but you didn't really believe in them. So you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm a hold off. I'm all set. I'm all right. Nah, I got something else to do. I can't help you out. Why? Maybe you didn't believe in a person. Maybe whatever it is they were asking you to be involved in, you didn't believe in that. Maybe whatever the end game was, maybe you believed in the person and you believed in what they were asking you to be involved in, but then when you were looking at like, what's the goal? What's the outcome here once we do all this? You didn't believe in that, whatever the end game was supposed to be. If any part of it you didn't believe in, you probably said no. Or you found a way to say no without having to say no. Or you found a way to avoid them so they couldn't ask you anymore. Has anybody ever done that? Oh, you have, huh? Your level of belief in what you're doing or looking at or considering affects not only how well you do it, but it also affects if you even begin. If you are not confident in what you're doing, this is just for you personally, maybe better off for you to do nothing at all. It is better to do nothing at all than to do something without full confidence in your actions. It is better to do nothing at all rather than do something without full confidence in your actions. Whatever you're going to do it boldly and do it authentically. All right, those are the actions that actually produce results. You're doing something and you're doing it timidly, or you're doing it tentatively or hesitatingly because you're not quite sure of it, it's probably not going to work. So you might as well not do anything. If people aren't confident in you and or what you're offering, they will not follow you. They will not listen to you. They will not take the actions that you ask or suggest that they take. Confidence is the key that opens the doors to your skills. Confidence is the key that opens the doors to your skills. I tell people to picture a 20 bedroom house, 20 different bedrooms. Each one of those bedrooms has a lock on its door, and all the doors are locked. But it's your house, okay? This is your house we're talking about. Problem is, you must have a key to unlock each one of those doors. In your own house, you gotta have a key to unlock the doors in your own damn house. Challenge is, this is what confidence is about. If you are not fully confident, it's kind of like you only have 10 keys, but you got 20 bedrooms. Has any of you ever experienced not executing, not utilizing all of your own skills in a certain situation, and you were really frustrated because you know you were capable of using a certain skill, but for whatever reason, you couldn't bring that skill out of you, and the reason was you weren't fully confident. See, when you're not fully confident, you don't lose your ability. What happens is you just lose access to that ability. It's kind of like losing the key, like losing the keys to your car. It's still your car, or you own it, but you can't even drive it because you lost your keys. I mean, you still own, it's still your house. I mean, your name is still on the lease, but you can't even get in the house because you don't have the keys. This is what it feels like to not be fully confident. You didn't lose the ability, you just lost access to it. And as soon as your confidence goes back up, all of a sudden you can unlock all of those doors all over again. Confidence is the key. I talked about this in my 2016 TED Talk called How to Be Confident When You're Not. And you can watch that video if you go to toomuchconfidence.com. It was a story of a high school basketball player who was a mediocre at best player. On his best day, he was mediocre. But this particular day in practice, the coach said, today I'm going to have each one of you pretend to be somebody else. And this mediocre at best player, he randomly got assigned to be his teammate who happened to be the best player on the team. His teammate was named Mike. Now, not Michael Jordan, his name just happened to be Mike. And this mediocre guy's job, according to his coach, his boss, if you will, was to be the best player on the team. Pretend to be the best player on the team today because everybody was supposed to show their teammates how they play. So this mediocre player goes out there, and how do you think he played? He played the best basketball he had ever played in his life that day. Why was that? Not because he all of a sudden developed these skills. He already had those skills within him. The problem was he had never had the permission, he had never given himself the permission to actually be that person. He never give himself the permission to stop conforming to being the mediocre player that he was known as. Now, while he was a 16-year-old high schooler who didn't understand this concept, so he had an excuse for never stepping out of himself and stepping into that super version of himself. You don't have that excuse, because now I just told you the situation. Point number 4, today's topic is the 4 C's for selling. Number 4, courage. Definition of courage is the ability to do something that frightens you. Maybe, I'm out of the definition now. Maybe your confidence isn't on full yet. Maybe you don't have that one master key to unlock all the doors to all the skills that you possess. Maybe that's your situation right now. That's all right. But there are things that you need to get done right now. All right, and this is just true, whether you think it's all right or not. There are things that need to get done, but your confidence isn't on full. Therefore, you do not have access to all of your skill. What do? This is quite a conundrum that you need to figure out. You need to figure it out now, because there are things that need to get done now. What you do here is engage your courage. In other words, acting in the face of uncertainty and fear. You're uncertain, you're fearful, but there are things that need to get done. Do it anyway. When you go through enough of these situations in life, it builds confidence that you can handle everything. See, all of these principles build on each other. See, the more often you use your courage, acting in the face of fear, the more confidence you build. See, when you're fully confident that you can do something, you probably won't be that afraid about it. You won't experience that much trepidation, because you already know you can do it. But if you don't have confidence, you will experience a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress, because you're not quite sure. So in those cases, you utilize courage. Do it anyway. And the more often you utilize your courage, doing something anyway, despite the fact that you're not fully confident, it builds your confidence. So when you lack confidence, use courage. And the more you use courage, the more you build confidence. You go through enough of these situations, it builds the confidence that you can handle anything. And in situations we talk about clarity, the more clear you get on things, the more confident you will be about what you have going on. And the more confident you are, the more certainty you will convey through your nonverbal communication. Therefore, more people will buy into you. You will have more clarity. Okay, when I express my confidence in this way, more people believe in me. I'm showing my certainty. More people believe in me. I can be more clear in my communication in exactly what it is that I'm offering, and people are going to buy into what I have. If somebody takes a leap of faith with you, they exercise some courage to give you a shot, even though they're not quite clear as exactly what they're going to get, and you deliver, then people's confidence goes up. Their certainty goes up. Your certainty goes up. Even when people are unclear, you'll still be able to make things happen. So all of these C's actually play off of each other, the same way the 4 principles of working on your game play off of each other, and the 8 principles of the entire system, 9 principles rather, of the entire system play off of each other. And you can learn about all of that and work on your game at workonyourgameuniversity.com. But before we get into that, let's recap the 4 C's of selling. Again, thank you for Jordan Bell for coming up with this concept. I took it and I extended on it. Let's recap these 4 points. Number 1, certainty. Definition. The firm conviction that something is the case. To sell anything, ideas, or tangible items, it requires you to be certain of what it is that you're offering. Your certainty is conveyed in your nonverbal communication, not in the words that you speak. Number 2, clarity. That is the quality of being coherent and intelligible. If people cannot understand what it is that you're offering and how it works and what they got to do and what they're going to get for it, they will do nothing. Look to Apple as an example of this. What makes Apple so popular is that their products are so easy to use. The clarity of how easy it is to use them straight out of the box without even reading the manual. Number 3, confidence, defined as the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. In other words, firm trust. Your level of belief in what you're doing affects either how well you do it or even if you get started in the first place. If you or others are not confident in what you're offering, people will not follow you, they won't listen to you, and they will not take the actions that you suggest. Confidence is the master key that unlocks the doors to all of your skills. And number 4, courage, defined as the ability to do something that frightens one. Maybe your confidence is not on full yet. Utilize courage in those cases, and that will build your confidence. The more often you use your courage, the more confidence you will build in knowing that you can deal with a situation, even when you are not 100% sure that it's going to work out. Work on your game. Dre all day.